go over this 3-hour drunken, ridiculous podcast.
This is an interview, and, it's fun. I don't care.
You want some more of this tobacco?
I want to. I think it's much more interesting.
You said a lot of wild shit.
Maybe. Even the language they do speak, they can't get interpreters, they can't do anything. And the mayor's trying to be politically correct. They're all trying to be.
You're missing it. You're missing it. Who wants people to not be healthy? Who wants people to be hurt and not be able to fix it? Are you really saying that?
The way I'm going to put together clips in this video, I should make a statement that I'll be purposefully editing these clips of Joe Rogan and Donald Trump to make it look different from the way it actually is. I'm talking about the interview they did together, just about the most watched thing ever. And I'll be using clips from that interview. If you've heard Joe Rogan talking recently about politics, you'll be surprised at the clips I'll be showing you from 2017. So what you're going to see here is a mix of the recent interview with the two of them and some old clips of Joe Rogan thrown in. The old Joe Rogan, before he got corrupted by something. I want to show how the interview between the two of them should have gone if Joe Rogan was being totally honest and hadn't done a big flip with just about every one of his political viewpoints. This is a really good idea here. So you might as well just give me a thumbs up now.
One of the things that they've said is that you stopped a bill from being passed. But didn't that bill also include amnesty for the people that are already here?
Joe, this is years after the fact. The damage was already done.
But what was the bill?
Well, the bill was
the
nothing.
problem
It
with the
allowed
bill?
2 million people in. They were going to get amnesty. It was a horrible bill. It didn't protect us at all.
Yeah.
Springfield, Ohio is this very nice community of 52,000 people that just had 32,000 migrants dropped into their community. You can't get into a hospital. You can't get into a school. But they speak no language. They speak no
English, man.
And the mayor says, we're looking for interpreters. I said, no, you've got to remove them and bring them back to their country.
Children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children and then talking about deporting them. That drives me fucking crazy.
These people have been let in here by this imbecile. And I mean it, she's a low IQ person. Low IQ.
Right, but it's obviously not just her. There's a strategy that's involved in letting these people in.
She was in charge of the border.
Well, she's in charge of the border, but
Again, no. She was simply tasked with finding out the reasons why immigration is happening.
And I mean it, she's a low IQ person.
She had no authority over the border. I researched this. These people did not. Joe Rogan just chooses to believe whatever someone says to him.
the app that used to be used, it used to be used, I think, essentially, wasn't it for shipping? Wasn't it when people were in this country?
It was used for shipping, and now it's used to deal with the cartels. Think of this. They call up the app, and the app tells them where they should take their load of illegal migrants.
If you were in the presence of a woman who came over here from Guatemala and she's poor and she's starving and they're taking her baby away.
Even the language they do speak, I mean, they can't get interpreters, they can't do anything. And the mayor's trying to be politically correct. They're all trying to be.
You're missing it. You're missing it. I don't want you on the team. You're an asshole, right? And I don't give a fuck if you're right or left. The hard right version of that is despicable. These people that I see online, why didn't they apply for citizenship? Oh, who knows? Maybe because they're fucking 13. They either don't have kids or they don't think it could happen to their kids. Their idea is, hey, shouldn't have fucking come over here. You get those kind of people. Broke the law. Shouldn't have fucking come over here if you could. You didn't want to get your kids separated. I don't give a fuck if they broke the law. You don't take parents and kids and separate them. You just fucking don't.
We have a lot from the Congo, prisons in the Congo. I made a little bit of a sarcastic joke. A man named Dana White, who you love, who I love. I assume you love him.
Love that dude.
I think he's in a class by him.
He's probably the reason why you're here.
I don't know, maybe.
He's one of the big ones.
He is the greatest guy. I always say, nobody's indispensable. Everybody can be replaced. Maybe you can't be. You might not be. But Dana White, truly, I don't think... the things they sold it for $4 billion. I said, "What the hell? Who the hell is going to pay $4 billion?" They made like a great deal. Because of him. Take him out. I think it's a whole different.
No, he's the best.
He's also the greatest guy. He spoke at the whole thing with I had just been shot, and he got up and he spoke so better than anybody. I mean, who would be better to introduce you? I asked of all the people. I know the biggest people in the world, and they all would have loved to have done it. I said, "Dana, would you do it?" It was interesting. He was away, and he said to the people that.
So did you see what happened there? Trump just weaved himself out of that last question that Rogan asked. I don't even remember what the question was now. And he got Rogan talking about UFC fighting for the next 5 minutes. They just rambled on about stuff. I was looking for more on the border and immigration. But that was it. That's all they did on immigration. About 1 minute, maybe an hour on just rambling, trying to speak a language.
I've never voted right wing in my life.
In celebrity endorsements, popular podcast host Joe Rogan endorsed former President Donald Trump just hours before voting began across the United States.
He ended up endorsing a guy who's calling for mass deportation of 10, 15, 20 million people. The idea that they're all just criminals is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Not all Donald Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Donald Trump supporters.
If you have a smart president, he can deal with Russia. He can deal with all of it. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine if I were president.
How would you have stopped it?
Automatic, two things. I told him. I said, Vladimir, you're not going in. To me, the most beautiful word, and I've said this.
Right. It doesn't mean he's not evil, or it doesn't mean he's not
of course not.
dangerous.
But actually...
So there, Joe Rogan confronted Trump about Putin being a bad person who wants to do bad things, like take over other countries. He has stated this very plainly. That's what he wants to do. He wants to build Russia, recreate the Soviet Union of countries together against the rest of the world. And it's all in the name of communism, spreading communism to the world. Aren't Republicans against that? And what was Donald Trump's reaction? Did you hear it? He actually said, but. He wanted to blow it off because he has something for Putin. And he did what he often does, misdirects onto some other topic. He weaves his way out of it. There's a lot going on here. One thing he is doing is projecting the fact that he knows that Putin is an enemy and distracting by talking about other enemies. See? And who is he calling our enemies? Or us, anyone who's against him. When in fact, the real enemy within is this guy right here doing all this shit.
If you have a smart president, he can deal with Russia, he can deal with all of it. I can't tell you what I told him. He's a brilliant guy, whether you like it or not. And they go crazy.
Right.
Say,
it doesn't mean he's not evil, or it doesn't mean he's not
of course not.
dangerous.
But actually, we have evil people in our country.
Yes.
But Ukraine is the apple of his eye. I used to talk to him. I had a very good relationship with him.
If you were in the presence of a woman and they're taking her baby away and she's wailing and screaming.
Well, he's a brilliant guy. He controls people with an iron fist. I mean,
DNA, that the one thing she loves more than anything is being taken away. A baby. Yeah. If that doesn't freak you the fuck out, you're not a part of the team, man.
We have evil people in our country.
Yes.
Turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds. Monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pack, prednisone, everything.
I just said, I don't think that if you're a young, healthy person, that you need it. Their argument was, you need it for other people.
So you don't transmit the virus.
That makes more sense. I'm not a doctor. I'm a f***ing moron who's a dirty stand-up comedian.
I've been on a carnivore diet. Just everything's meat. I'm not eating any grains, and I'm not eating any carbs. Nothing else. I've had rocketing diarrhea. Zelensky, can I get a drug test? Can we just get one drug test before we send you any more money?
And I do testosterone, and I smoke a lot of weed.
The whole thing is nuts.
I mean, look, I don't know shit about politics. I feel safer knowing that Trump is in office. I don't know shit about politics.
Zelensky says Putin is terrified. Fuck you, man. Fuck you people.
What the hell happened to this guy?
I think education should be free. I think we should figure out a way. If we could pay for bombs, we could pay for schools. I think this idea that everybody should have health care, it's a great idea. Who the fuck wants people to not be healthy? Who wants people to be hurt and not be able to fix it? Are you really saying that struggling people should have to pay exorbitant amounts of money to get fixed?
He endorsed the guy who represents the opposite of every single thing you just heard him say here. You guys all know the pro-war stuff, increasing drone strikes over 400%, bombing Syria twice, bombing Somalia, trying to coup Venezuela, ripping up the Iran agreement.
I like Tulsi and I like Bernie. That's it.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody else can eat shit.
What the hell happened to this guy?
To me, the most beautiful word, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks, in the dictionary today, is the word tariff. It's more beautiful than love. I lost by I didn't lose, but they say I lost.
once again, he's getting quicker at stopping himself, but he hasn't gotten to the point of stopping before he admits that he lost the last election. This is a guy who threw the whole country under the bus, lying that he lost, getting people disillusioned and angry at America, losing faith in the electoral system. And he doesn't care that he did that. And then people voted for this monster. What in the flat earth is going on?
The January 6th thing is important.
See, it is important, and but is it the 6 months later? Should be the ruling number one conversation of journalists?
I think it's really important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so fucking dangerous. Is because a guy can incite a bunch of morons to do something really fucking stupid.
Joe Rogan endorsed former President Donald Trump.
I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights. I'm even universal health care.
What's your theory? Right. What the hell happened? What happened to this guy? What happened?
I'm a f***ing moron.
This 3-hour drunken, ridiculous podcast.
This is an interview. We've covered a lot of territory, right? And couldn't answer a question. And every question's not answered. I mean, I'll build a wall. I won't build a wall. There's 100 things you can say. Just say anything, right?
You said a lot of wild shit.
Maybe.
My crowds are the best crowds. I have the number one crowd. He couldn't help himself.
For people who tried to debunk this video, well, I've never been debunked in 11 years. And you won't be able to do it this time. You will bring up a whole bunch of reasons to vote for Trump. And even I am putting together a video coming in a few days about the various good reasons for voting for Trump. And then I proceed to say those aren't good enough reasons under these conditions. There are such weak reasons compared with the strong reasons to vote against him, that those weak reasons have to be disingenuous, covering up people's real motivations. Maybe it's not just motivations. In Joe's case, it might be drugs, might be maybe literal brainwashing. Something happened to him.
And I do testosterone and I smoke a lot of weed. I'm not a respected source of information, even for me.